For this final project, you're going to be creating a set of business cards. Now, originally, I had you also creating a letterhead for your business, but for the sake of time, I think we can just call this down to do 3 different business card designs. In order to get started, you're going to be creating an InDesign document from scratch. The size of this document is going to be 2 inches by 3.5 inches. That's a standard business card. There's going to be 1/8 of an inch bleed, and we're going to have 6 pages for it. The reason for 6 is because you're going to be designing a front and a back side for each of your business cards. So there's going to be 3 cards total. When finished, we can save everything up as a PDF. To get started, launch Adobe InDesign. Let's go up to File and create a new document. Inside of our preset details, make sure you're working in inches. The width of it and the height of it can be swapped around, but I'm going to keep all my cards exactly the same of 3.5 inches wide and 2 inches in height. Again, we need to make sure there's 6 pages total, and since this isn't going to be a published book, let's turn off facing pages. Finally, down at the very bottom, we can set our margins for now to be 0 on all sides. Remember, if you link it up, it'll all automatically be the same thing. For our bleed settings, 1/8 of an inch is 0.125, and remember, if it's linked, it'll automatically put it on all sides. Everything else can remain the same. When we hit Create, this will give us our new document. Remember, if you go to the Pages panel, you should be able to see all of your pages lined up on top of each other. If you don't see your pages on top of each other and they're still side by side, that simply means you've turned on facing pages. Now that's an easy fix that you can do. With nothing selected, go to your Properties panel and locate the Facing Pages checkbox. Make sure it's unchecked. The other thing we can do is if you want to be able to adjust the margins for your page, at any time you can select the given page, go up to Layout, and choose Margins and Columns. Now for this kind of layout, we don't necessarily need a different column structure, but I do want to add a little bit of breathing room to the sides and edges of my document. So in my case, I'm going to add 1/8 of an inch just for this first one. So 0.125 for the top, bottom, left, and right. Remember, if you turn on preview, you can see it, and that's looking pretty good. We'll say OK. The only thing I'll say about these margins is that it'll only be applied to the document that you had selected. Notice that's on page 1, but if I go to any other page, it's not on that page. Now, when designing a business card, the elements that we need to put on here need to include your name, the name of your business or the logo, some sort of title, and I want an address and a phone number. If you want to add an email address or anything else, I'll leave that up to you. But at least that basic contact information needs to be somewhere on your design. Before we talk about colors or fonts, let's just get these elements onto here, then we can start placing everything and moving stuff around. I'm going to grab my type tool, make me a little text box, and type out my name. I put my name in its own individual text box, and I'm going to put my title underneath it. Now, depending on the business that you have, you can come up with your own title. I'm just going to do owner as the title of mine. Again, I'm not worried about the size or the font. I'm just putting the information on here. As far as my phone number goes, you can make up something. And the same is true for your address. We'll make my box a little bit bigger. And there we have it. Next, let's place our logo. Remember, to place an image, go to File and Place. I've got mine in my Downloads folder. There it is here. Remember, this is an Illustrator file, or you may have saved yours up as a PDF. In either case, it's got different logos and different designs on different pages. I need to be able to choose which logo that I want to work with. So make sure we can show the import options. When we say Open, this will allow you to choose the particular page that you want to use. So in my case, I'm going to choose this particular one and say OK. Then I can click and drag and add it to my design. Now, when thinking about a design, We want to make sure all of the elements are nice, clear, and readable. Things like alignment and size and proximity all come into play. What we don't want to have is all of these different elements simply scattered about randomly anywhere. Remember, if you hit the W key, you can see what this would look like. So we want to have what's known as a hierarchy to this design. Knowing what's most important usually tends to be the largest, or at least the most easily seen. So in my case, I'm going to have my name be nice and large. Let's choose a font. So I've got it highlighted and selected. We'll go up to my font selection. And these are all different fonts that I have saved on my computer already. Do make sure it's something that's appropriate, but also something that's nice and readable. For instance, I like this one, but it may not necessarily be readable or appropriate. Same way for some scripted fonts. If I'll scroll down, let's see if I can get a nice bold font that also reads really good and also feels like my style that I have for my, there we go, particular brand. To make this larger and bolder, I can select it and I can increase the font size. Whoops. Notice that it disappeared simply because it was too big for my text box. One way I like to resize things is to hold down the Shift and the Command key. When I click on the edge of this, that will automatically resize everything that's inside of that text box too. So that's one quick and easy way of doing this. Let's do the same for owner and all of the other things. When choosing a font that pairs up well, if you've got a serifed font, a sans serif font tends to go really well for this one. Sans serif fonts are simply fonts that don't have any of the extra decoration to them. So there's a serif. There's one. This looks actually pretty good. Marcinelle, and it comes in a variety of weights. So maybe I'll go for this one, Ben Ivy and owner. I'll do my phone number and all of my other stuff in the same font as well. So that one is Marcinelle. In this case, I chose a bolder version of that one. Let's do it for this one too. There. Now it's clear that my name is nice and large. The owner is underneath here. If I wanted to, I could make these two different sizes or different variations so I can see what it looks like as thin or maybe a little bit thicker. That's actually pretty good right there. Next, let's see if we can line everything up nicely. Right now, I've got my logo filling out well on this left-hand side. Let's make a guideline to have everything filled up in the middle. Clicking on my little ruler, I'm going to drag across, and let's have it lined up right along this edge. Now that I've got this guide, I can move things over until it fits nicely along the guideline. Going back into preview mode, give me an idea of where it's placed. Now we can balance everything out. I want my name to be nice and large. I want owner to kind of fit underneath here, so maybe I'll even push that over just a bit. Or I'll make mine thinner. And then finally, I'm going to move everything down till it's nice and evenly spaced for this one. If I wanted my phone number to stand out just a bit more, I can always increase the size of it, and you can see how that increases the hierarchy of it, makes it stand out. Once I've got these established, now I can start playing around with the colors and the layout of the entire thing. If I wanted to use some of the same colors that are in here, I can highlight my text, grab my eyedropper tool, and I can click inside of my logo to pick up the colors. Now, if you get this warning, that's okay. We'll say okay to it, and you can see how it applies it to that one. Just remember, whenever you have new swatches, it's a good idea to save these swatches. So I'm going to highlight my text one more time. You can see now I've got it saved as a fill color, and I can go down here to save it up from here. Now I can use that orange anywhere. Doing this adds a lot more variety to an otherwise simple design. We'll make my name set apart just a little bit more. Notice how I've also kept everything inside of my margins and off the edges, and I've used these guides to make everything nice and lined up. So this is one variation that I can have for my logo. If this page represents the front, I can zoom out and go to the second page. This would represent the back of my logo. What do we put on the back? Well, if everything's already on the front, the back can be a simple design. I'm going to use my rectangle tool, and I'm going to drag a rectangle to fill in from the bleed edge to bleed edge, and this time fill it in with just a solid orange. Let's put my logo centered in the back, but let's make it white. Now remember, if I go to File and Place, and I place my logo one more time, do remember to show the import options. We'll say Open, then choose my logo version. I don't necessarily have a white version of it. I've got a full color version, but I want to have a version that's just going to be a solid color of white. The black doesn't look half bad, but it's not what I want. I need to change the color of this logo. If this is the case, I need to save another version of my logo. Here's how to do this. I can't change the color of it in InDesign. I need to right-click on it and tell it to edit the original. When I do this, this is going to open up Adobe Illustrator and launch my file in here. This will allow me to change the color of it. I'm going to say ignore to the picture that's looking for, and we won't worry about the fonts. We'll close those out too. So here's my black and white version that I have. All I'm going to do for this is select the black, and I'm going to change the color over to white. Let's do the same for the text. Select the text and save it there. Now watch what happens. If I go to File and Save, this is going to update my document. And when I jump into here, you can see how it automatically updates that one. So now I've changed the version of it from the original file. We'll make my document just a little bit bigger. Remember to hold the Shift and Command key, and I'm going to get it to be nice and centered on the design. So there's the back of my card, and here's the front of my card. And this is simply one version of my cards. Now let's make a separate version. I've already got these elements designed, so I'm going to select everything on this first page. Just click and drag over it all, and go up to Edit and Copy. Let's go down here. Then I'm going to go to Edit and Paste. And we'll paste it right here in this design. So what can we change up? Well, let's play around with the logo and the colors. Let's say I really wanted to emphasize my name and not so much the logo. So I'm going to move the logo out of the way. And for now, I'm going to move all of my type and text out of the way. If I wanted my name to be nice and large, I'll place it right here. Maybe I can pull on some of that orange color by clicking and dragging a rectangle up here at the top. And we'll fill it with orange. And I want this to be behind my text. So I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, and send it to the back. This will let me select my type and make it paper white. Now I've got my name nice and highlighted. Now, with that done, let's place my contact information below. I can say owner and my phone number. I could even have my address over here on the side. Remember, I didn't establish any margins on this particular page, so let's go ahead and do that now. Layout, columns and margins. Usually 1/8 of an inch is enough for this. I'm going to make my phone number a little bit bigger and place my address over here to the side. Actually, what would it look like if it's down there? That's not too bad by itself. I'll put owner. There's my phone number. I'll line it up with my name, so there it is, nice and aligned with that. We'll have owner be larger. Maybe for this one, I'll even have it be a different, bolder font. Let's do semi-bold. Owner. And then let's de-emphasize the logo and place it down here on the bottom. I think that's starting to get a little bit too cluttered. Let's move it out of the way and see what else we can do with this. Rather than having everything up here at the top, let's put the logo one more time on the back. Or even better, yeah, let's put it on here on the back. And in this case, let's use the different logo. With it selected, I'm going to go to File and Place. Instead of using the flat version of the logo, this time I'm going to choose my logo. and select the full color version of it. That's got all the different gradations. That one looks really cool. And that's it. That's all I needed for this one. It's got the logo and it's got my colors. Hey, if this one has a gradation here, let's put the gradation inside of this one. If you want to add a gradient swatch that uses your colors, let's also pick up the yellow color that's inside of this. Grab your eyedropper tool and select the yellow. It's saved up now as a fill color. I'm going to save it as a swatch. Now all I need to do is make a new gradient swatch. In this case, it'll be a linear gradient, and the colors we can use, if I choose white, will be our swatch colors. Now I can scroll down and make this one yellow, and then I can click on the black one, scroll down and use the red. Now I've got that saved as a gradient. Let's use it up top. Select my little rectangle, make it a gradient, and now I've got that as an option. I'm going to move owner down here because that feels a little bit more balanced. Maybe make my phone number the next most important thing. If we zoom out, we can see all the 2 different card designs that we have, both front and the back. This time, let's see if we can do one last design that's really special. One more time, we can select all of our elements from one of the cards, just click and drag over them and go to Edit and Copy. Then we can go choose our 5th page and Edit and Paste, putting it right there. For this one, let's see if we can put the logo on the side and have it kind of ghosted in. So I'm going to create one more rectangle off to the side. It can be the gradient, but I'm going to keep it a fill color. I'm going to use my direct selection tool. Instead of it being a solid rectangle, I'm going to click on this bottom corner and drag it out and do something like this. Now that's kind of broken up, makes it a little bit more interesting. With that done, let's go to our white logo. Since I've already got it placed, we can copy it, Command C, and go back down here and Command V to paste it in. In my case, I'm going to crop my logo just so that it shows the flame and the little quill pen. So that's more of a decorative element than just the name by itself. Resize my box. And then hold down Shift and Command. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Just want it to stay nice and inside. You can have it going off the edge of your page, and so it has this kind of nice little effect. Or I'm just going to have mine fit nicely inside that area. I think that's looking pretty good. With that done, now let's see if we can place our text inside of here. I'm going to make my name black this time, and keeping with the owner. Because I've got a nice horizontal line, this makes it easy to line everything up along this edge so that it fits really nice and well underneath here. We'll move this down towards the bottom. And there we have just a different type of design. Another thing we can do is to play around with gradients or add shadows or any kind of special effect if you wanted to. In my case, I'm just going to keep the phone number nice and organized there. As far as the back design goes, once again, we can place our logo, or you can place any other type of design elements on this one. In my case, let's do a gradient for this back. I'm going to click and drag. Got a simple gradient. And let's put the logo in white on the back. So I'm going to copy this, put it there. This time I'm going to scale it down and show the entire logo. And if you wanted, you could rotate it sideways so that this now looks like a vertical card for the back. We'll place it centered inside of there. If you want to see your design rotated 90 degrees, the book didn't go into this, but this is a good little handy trick to know. Going to your Pages panel, you can select, you can see this is the 6th page. If you right-click on this page or control-click on it, you can tell it to go to your page attributes, and tell it to rotate the spread view. In our case, we want to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, and you can see what that would look like if it was actually printed that way. So there's the front and the back of those two. There's this design and this design. Now that we've got three different basic designs nice and created, let's go into File and save our document. This will save it up as an InDesign file. So this will be our ink and Ember business cards. Of course, put the name of your design or your business on it. Then let's save it up and export it as a PDF. Go to File, down to Export. In our case, we can keep the same name. Make sure the format is just a regular Adobe PDF print and click Save. And we're going to do all of the documents as a smallest file size. This smallest file size will compress everything and make sure it's a good quality print for uploading. When you click Export, this will save a PDF version of your design. Remember, this will put each page on its own separate page inside of this PDF that I can scroll through. This PDF is all that you need to upload to the classroom page for this project.